Beside me, a little bit further, there were people with guns. The society we are in does not respect you when you suffer. So I was like, God, take my life.
But that sounds like Shakahola now.
Listen, I wasn't getting married because I wanted to or because I knew what marriage was, but I was trying to run away from my mom. I was like, my mom is very nagging. My mom is...
I don't know if you understand what I mean. Like sometimes you might be so driven and so focused.
People have an idea. I don't know. They have God-given idea of who they want to be. But they cannot see the map or the road there.
TCTV 1, USA. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to TCTV 1 USA and the Tony Shira Show. My name is Tony Shira, and I am pleased to welcome you to 2025. This is the first interview of the year, and guess what? She comes up as a writer. She has a story. She has come from far to so far. I do not have the right words to describe her story because it's something that you guys are going to want to read about. But we have her in studio. Allow me to let my guest introduce herself.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Karibu sana TCTV 1.
Thank you.
Yeah. Please introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Pastor Jane Muchina. I love the Lord as my personal savior. I am a mother of 3 boys. I am a writer. This is my first book, though I started writing it a long time ago. And I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. Karibu sana. How long have you been a pastor?
I pastored a church in Kenya, Christ the Hope Church, for over 15 years before I relocated to US.
Okay. And when you relocated, who did you leave the ship with?
I left another pastor.
Okay. You're an author. Did you always ever think that you would be an author? Or when did the idea of becoming an author begin?
I had so many stories that I knew they had to be written someday, so I would write small notes and keep them aside, and I didn't know what would happen to them, and I didn't know when to start writing. So by the time I was back home, I was thinking, when will I write this book? So I came with a very big notebook, believing one day I will write. Only I was like, I don't know whether I will be able to do this, but I used to carry it along with me, believing one day I'll put what is in my heart out there.
Right. I want to pick a point at which you got inclined to writing. I mean, did you always love books, or what's your story?
Okay, I was born in Kangemi, so just close to Nairobi, so I'm a town girl. And I was born by 2 teenagers. My dad was 17, my mom was 16.
Oh my God.
I always say they were not ready for me. They were just trying to make themselves happy.
I kind of feel like digressing a little to ask you, would you then tell a young girl probably at 19, 20 to not go out?
Okay.
Did I burst a bubble?
It is good to know the advantages and disadvantages, because that can lead you to be a young mother, and it will rob you your time, like you will not be able to enjoy life in fullness at your age, because you become a mother and you take motherly responsibility, and motherly responsibilities are not easy. You are still someone's responsibility, and now you are taking responsibility. It's hard.
Right.
You get tired. You get tired, you get discouraged.
Right.
And you will complain a lot after that.
So you're born of teenage parents. Now tell us, how did you go to school? I mean, these teenage parents, did they have a job? How do you go to school? When did you fall in love with books or writing?
Okay, one thing is I've always loved school. My mom is like, okay, she didn't get all that education, but she really wanted to educate us. So I loved school, which did not come without challenges, because I'm the firstborn of 4 siblings. So I struggled when I was growing up because like there reached a time my dad was like, I'm too young to take care of a child. And he was in and out of home. So my mom was the one taking care of me. She would go with me to her business. She could even go work as a house girl just to protect me. So you can imagine she was bitter. That's why I'm like saying you should be careful. Because the minute you become a mother, when you're very young, you may not be very happy because that is not what you are looking for.
Right.
Yeah, you just became pregnant accidentally, and you may reflect that bitterness on your children. So my mom was not very happy girl. She would like, this child is a burden. So I was my mother's burden.
Okay. What about your brothers or your sisters?
Yeah, I have a sister after me, my second-born sister, but I'm 5 years older than her. I'm also that's born sister. I'm 10 years older than her. Then my fourth-born brother, who I'm 14 years older
So
than
you're the
him.
firstborn.
So I'm the firstborn,
Okay.
but there is a gap between us.
Yes. It looks like they had to take a little break to allow themselves to grow up a little. Yeah, pressure of bringing you up must have been too big for teenage parents.
I think my mom had a lot of fear. Maybe she feared it doesn't happen again.
Oh.
Possibly, that's what I think.
All right. And I'm just thinking, probably looking at you and the age difference between yourself and your mom, people must think maybe you're sisters.
Yeah, we always looked like sisters. You'd never tell. Sometimes I feel, because sometimes I felt like I'm my mother's sister rather than she's my mom.
Right.
Yeah.
How does that impact on your relationship in terms of like being open and interacting with your parents?
I didn't have that time like to open a lot to her, but until when I was older. But the other time I felt like she's on me all the time. Yeah, because she also had her fears, especially when I was a teenage. Like she would not want me to get pregnant. So I was like, I was denied all freedom. I was always closed in because she didn't want me to go out. She didn't want me to turn like her.
Wow. Did you ever think for a moment that they thought you were a mistake?
Of course. I knew all along I was a mistake.
Come on. How is that? How does that feel?
I felt rejected. I felt not loved. But I struggled with it until I overcame it. So we didn't have a good relationship with mom because I was like, initially, because I was like, she didn't even want me, So I always felt like I was a mistake.
Oh my. All right. Tell us about your dad.
My dad, I don't even know how much to tell because he turned into a drunkardness. He would drink. He was young. He wanted his life.
Right.
So, but all I know is he loved me. He used to call me mom. He would come, and sometimes he would not. So there are days he would disappear for a long time. And there are days he would appear.
Okay.
And when he appeared, I was happy because at least I would receive gifts.
Yes.
And I would be told, Mom, I still love you, things like that. My mom used to tell me in those initial stages, he did not want to associate with me. He was like told, his name was Christopher. Oh, that is your son. That is your daughter. He would like, oh, she's not mine.
You said was, so he's late?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
He died when I was 14 years old. Yeah.
So I'm just trying to establish the basics on, what probably now inspired you into writing. What brought you into wanting to write a book?
I don't know. It's like when I was in like around class 3, that is in Kangemi Primary School, there's this teacher who used to call us to pray. And we would sing, we would pray, and I would like, there I developed a desire for God when I was very young. And it's like I felt as I'm a reader, like I'm supposed to read. And being, of course, the firstborn, it's like I was born into it. And I started taking leadership. I would preach at the parade. In primary school, they started calling me a pastor when I was still in primary school.
Wow.
So I felt there was some greatness in me. I did not choose to believe what my parents thought about me, because these teachers made me feel better. They were like, it's not the circumstances that surround you. It is who you want to become. So they raised me believing in myself, despite the toxic things I was told at home.
Right.
What I was told by my teachers made me desire to be better than my mother or anyone or the surrounding people.
All right. So why is it important that people should read this book? First of all, do you have a title for it? Do you want to share that with us?
Yeah, the book title is Resolute Tenacity.
Resolute Tenacity.
Yes. And
that's profound. Resolute Tenacity.
Yeah. You know, tenacity is a beacon of hope. It is something to train or teach people that no matter what has happened to you, you can bounce back. You know, it doesn't matter what happened to you in your childhood. It doesn't matter whether you are sick, through all the setbacks, you can bounce back. Yeah, and I like this scripture that says, "A man's spirit sustain them in days of trouble," because it is you. It is what is in you. Nobody will come and tell you, "Oh, bounce back or do this."
Oh, God
it is
will
what
not bounce you back. It is.
It is you. It is your inner self. There must be something that will push you to want to come back. Otherwise, people have refused to do that. Others have committed suicide. Others have ended up being drug addicts because they did not want to bounce back, because they feared what would come next. You know, it is like when something happened to you and you're in a class 1 and you're like, now if I go to class 2, what will happen? So you must be willing to face your fears and become all God desired you to be.
Wow. How do you feel that this book is relevant, coming at this time? Listening to you, you've touched on things that nowadays are talked of as mental health issues. How do you find this book is relevant for a reader this time? I'm
a person who have gone through depression, and I know in that time of depression, I thought I was okay, and the people were talking. But I like to listen to what people say, because when I hear what people say, I like doing opposite of what they say. Okay. So at this point, so much was happening to me. By that point, I was married and my marriage was not working. There was a lot of difficult, and people were saying, "Oh, she's gonna get mad. Oh, she's going to get into depression." All those, the kind of things that people say. And I wanna go a little bit back and tell you how I got that.
Please, let's do it.
When I was young, my mom would tell me, "You know what? Do you know why I chase you around? It is because I don't want you to get pregnant at home. Because if you get pregnant at home, if you try to get pregnant at home, she could tell you, I will burn you and burn your baby and all that."
Oh my goodness.
So I made a vow to myself that I'll never get pregnant at home.
Okay.
So I was like, I'll not do what she wants me to do. She would scare me. And most of the time when you scare young people, they want to do that which you are telling them not to do.
Yeah.
But in my case, I chose not to do what she wanted me to do, because I knew I would be miserable like her. Because I would get a child when I am young and I'm already not able to take care of myself.
Right.
So I was very careful. I was like, I can't get pregnant.
Right.
I can't get pregnant at home. And for me to get pregnant, I must be married.
Right.
But there was no other way.
Wasn't that a lot of pressure?
It was. It was, but I had decided I will not get pregnant, because I don't want my mom to punish me, and I don't want to suffer her wrath.
I'm starting to pick now the resoluteness, because that takes a lot of decision making and
Yeah.
grounding and just signing up to a value.
Yes, and my upbringing has made me that. I became so resolute, and I was like, I would make firm decision. I was determined that I'm not gonna take the wrong path.
Wow.
Because inside me, I wanted to be better.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I'm listening to you say that, and I have told people before, I had trouble in school, and it's just being in the wrong company. Not really the wrong company or the company that had issues in school, but my mom decided that the reason I was always, you know, on the wrong side of the law in school is that I was smoking weed, and I had never smoked weed. And I even decided, you know what, I will never smoke weed just to spite you. And I went past the time that I would have smoked weed without smoking it, so I'll never have to smoke weed again.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, so it depends with what you do, with what is said about you. People will always say things that aren't true. So do you want to prove them right or wrong?
Right.
You see? So for me, I always listen to what they are saying. If I know it is not true, I will not go that direction.
Right.
Yeah, I will always try to be the best version of me. Yes.
Right. So you've come through school, you've made those resolute ideas, you've decided you're not getting pregnant while at home, you will only, you know, get pregnant through a marriage. And I heard you earlier say that, you know, your marriage was going through trouble and all of that.
Yeah.
Could you put us in the frame of things?
If I go a little bit with my mom,
Yes.
I had all opportunities to waste myself because my mom was real strict. I would feel like wanting to run away from home. And I remember at one point she was very hard on me. And I remember spending like 21 days in Karura Forest. Those days we had caves in Karura Forest. And I went there to fast just because I was like, God, I don't have anywhere to go. And I have to just go there and fast and believe that God will show me way out of this.
How old were you?
I was around 14, 15 there.
What were you eating?
We were not eating.
Okay, for 21 days?
I didn't eat, you know, like what I desired to die. But I knew I can't commit suicide because if I commit suicide, I will not go to heaven. So I was like, God, take my life.
But that sounds like Shakahola now.
So what I did is I had a friend. She really liked me. She's in Canada. So I told my friend Jerry, now I don't know what to do. I just want you to show me the way to Karura Forest so that we can go there and pray. Maybe God will take my life or whatever he does with me, but I cannot commit suicide because, you know, I'll go to hell. So I went there and people were there, but at least we could cook tea. People, the villagers around, they would bring us tea and they would bring us sugar. I wasn't alone, there were other people who used to come and pray. So I remember at one point sleeping and telling God, I want to die. God, why can't I die? You know? Then I got like this sweet sleep around the bushes. I slept and I would hear a voice telling me, you need to wake up and eat. You have a wrong way to go. So I was like, God, why didn't you take me? And what is this wrong way?
Heaven is far.
Only to wake up. And beside me, a little bit further, there were people with guns, ladies and men. I don't know what they were doing. So I was like, surely these people would have killed me. What were they doing there? Is it something they had stolen or I don't know. But God protected me from it. Then after that, I ran to the cave and I was telling everybody, I saw these people when I wake up. Then I realized, I was praying to die, but I didn't want to die. I didn't I didn't want them to shoot me or something. Then I was like, if God, I'm going to continue, you have to be with me.
Pastor, I want to slow you down on that a little bit because I've heard when people go very, very hungry, almost to the point of death, and I'm talking about you now being in a forest fasting for 21 days, I hear people get delusional. Like you start seeing things, with the knowledge you have now, do you feel like you might have been getting delusional in thinking there were people with guns?
No, I saw them literally. They were there. Karura was a place where such kind people would come to hide.
Yeah.
So that was real. I saw them, and other people claimed also to have seen them.
Okay.
So it wasn't like a dream or anything. I saw them. I can even tell. Even right now, I was still young, but I can remember one lady was wearing like a pink blouse, something like that. So I saw them.
Right.
So it is not like a dream or a delusion or anything. It is something that was happening.
That must have been scary.
I don't know. It's like I wasn't scared. I think when you go through so much, sometimes you are not even scared. I used not to. By that time, I wasn't scared.
Right.
But there is one thing I knew when I woke up, that I don't want to die.
Or you had changed your mind?
Yeah, I was like, now that I had this voice telling me in my dream, I have a wrong way to go, I decided I don't want to die. I just felt like there is hope.
Okay.
There is hope for me, something good will come out of this. And I think after that, those days, I still continued. I waited until when the days were over, now I have to return home. Only, I was like, the way you are like assuming God will tell you to go somewhere. But I realized the 21 days are over and I have to go home.
Right.
So I went to my mom, and by this time she was selling in Kangemi Market second-hand shoes. She looked at me and she said, "Oh, look at her, look at her." And she's shouting,
Yes.
"Look at her, she's so thin, she's going to die."
Right.
And she's telling everyone. So I'm like, I didn't know what to do. I just told Mom. I was praying. She said, but luckily there was a lady from her old friend who told her, "Do you know what? This child that you do this to will one day save you. She will become someone." So I listened to what that lady said, and I refused to listen to what my mom said.
Okay.
So I went home, yes. I went out when at least my skirts were holding. So I'm coming home because they were not fitting me.
Yes.
And I was like, my mom was like, "I wish she was getting married instead of going to these places."
Oh, my goodness.
Then
At
I'm
14.
looking at her and I'm not talking. So I come home. This time she didn't do much. She was like, "Okay."
Wow. So take us back to class 3. You're now a leader. You're praying in school and all of that. There's this teacher that you've talked about that kind of made you start falling in love with books and all that. I want us to know, when do you now really decide? When do you start taking your first notes and putting them aside?
Okay, definitely I was writing notes because every time they invited me to preach, I had to have something.
Yes.
So it started there.
Yes.
I must have read, I must read, I have to understand what I'm going to say, and I have to make sure it relates with the children.
Correct.
So that is where I got the desire. My school life was not easy because I was in and out of school, especially when my second-born sister was born, because my mom sometimes had to go to the business and I had to be left with my second-born sister. So I became a mother at 5 years old.
Unfortunately.
I had to carry her around, and my sister was this crying child.
Right.
So I was like, I would like try to cover her mouth. Can't you stop? Because she used to cry a lot, but I went through it.
Right.
Then my after some 10 years, then my brother was born. No, my other sister was born. So it's like this time I'm taking the whole responsibility. I have to be in school and still come home, do the work.
Right.
Yeah, because my mom is a young mother, she has delivered, nobody to clean the clothes, so I have to come to clean the nappies. Those days we used to wash them with hats. I have to come and fetch water. I was like
everything.
Busy. Then sometimes I would go late to school. I would get the punishment. It's like I cried throughout all the time.
You really had a bad childhood.
It was bad.
Is it bad? Do we say bad childhood or difficult childhood?
Difficult. Let's say difficult.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So how would you relate now to that? Would you say today that what you went through then influenced the way you now look at things?
There's a way, I don't know, I think God gifted me. Instead of looking at pain as something to destroy me, I looked at pain as something to make me better. One thing is, my mom, despite how harsh she was hardworking. She wanted us to become. She wanted us to live a better life than her. So she was working real hard. So there was that part of her I admired. She was a tenacious woman. She worked. She was like, she could work, and she was well known because she later started a charcoal business that was doing so well. So people would come from far to see this woman who is selling charcoals, and everybody is buying at her price. So she started becoming, she was kind of very aggressive in business, and her business was doing well. So me, I was like, no, despite that part that I don't like of her being hard on me, a part of me admired the personality of my mother, because she did not allow what she had gone through to put her down.
Okay.
So I think I took that from her. So most of the time I would hear people say things, but she did not listen to them. She believed in herself. Yeah.
Quite an interesting background, and I think, it forms a very, very good foundation to what I would expect probably would be in the book. But I'm hearing you juggle between that childhood to your spiritual growth, to family, to early parenting. And I'm wondering, in your book, how have you organized it?
Yeah, I have my personal experiences that I have also talked about in the first chapters. Difficulty I have faced in life, and also to encourage others. Critical moments of resilience and shape of the worldview, because as a writer, what am I thinking of? I'm like trying to think, what is happening? Where is this person at? Who do I want to read my book? I want everyone to read my book. Whether they are sick, whether they are old, whether they are young, I don't mind what they are going through. But I know, despite what they are going through, they can become. They can overcome the challenges. They can bounce back, when I was young, by that time I was married around like when I was, how many years old? Like 29 years old. My mom was tested with cancer. That was another dark moment for me. Now you can imagine, now by this time we are 4 siblings. And I'm like, now what will happen? If my mom dies, I'm going to become the mother of all these children. So I'm one person that believes in prayers. I believe in prayer and fasting. That is my lifestyle, even now.
Okay.
It is not something I changed.
Yes.
So when I was told my mom is sick, I became so sad. And I had to pray, because my number one reason to pray is because I didn't want to become a mother of all those children.
Okay.
Being the firstborn. So I prayed for a long time. I by that time I was working in Westerns. I was a secretary in Westerns at CAD Center. So I was like walking, and I was crying to God and telling God, please don't let my mom die. Please, if she dies, I'll become the mother.
And I'm not ready.
Yeah. And I remember one of the days going home and praying for my mom. And I really had to tell my mom, you have to believe. Because you will not die. But I know the agenda is like, don't die, because I can't handle this. And I prayed for her. I don't know. It's like God heard my innocent cry. Because after that they removed her breast, but the cancer had not spread in the body. Oh. So she was saved, and she was this strong woman, because she was also praying for herself. My brother by that time was in Daystar University, and my mom really loved my brother. So she was like, God, don't let me die. I want to educate my son. So my mom was like, I don't want to die. I want to take care of my son. So that time, I saw my mom go through a lot. I was like, God help my mom. So when God helped my mom, because I believe he helped her,
Yes.
I was so happy. And I knew now something will happen.
Right.
And my mom overcame that challenge. She lived like a woman who had no cancer. You know, she did not allow it to torment her.
Right.
And those days, if anyone was told they have cancer,
I mean,
the
it
next
was
thing
like
they
a death
wanted was
sentence,
to
yeah.
die.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for her, she had this strong spirit that she was able to overcome it. And from the time she got cancer, it was until the time she passed on, because she passed on, it was around 20 to 21 years.
Oh.
So you can tell. And she did a lot after that. Yes.
Wow. What would you say is the most important lesson that someone that reads about you and the things you've written about in this book is going to learn?
One is through these experiences, I was able to discover myself. You know, sometimes you can never discover yourself when everything is okay. Those are comfortable moments.
It is in the face of challenges.
But when you have difficulties that are coming your way, they help you discover you. So through what I've suffered in life, it has been a journey of self-discovery. I have discovered a lot about myself. And I know there is a lot I've not discovered.
Okay.
So I am the person who do not fear challenges or life problems because I know where they end. They make me a better person.
Wow.
So I take them positively. I don't take them like, oh, why is this happening to me? They end up, you see, the writing of this book is because of the things I've gone through, is the experience I have earned through the things I have suffered. You see, what does the Bible say? Jesus learned obedience through what he suffered. So what you suffer can destroy you, or it can make you.
Okay.
You can become whatever you desire to be. If you don't allow what you've gone through to destroy you.
Right.
Because in life, pain is inevitable. It will happen. It is, what am I going to do with this pain? Will I allow it to destroy me? Or will I try to channel, look for another way out? Yeah.
The troubles that you went through growing up, would you say there's a point where you think these were bigger troubles than other kinds of troubles? Like the troubles you went through in childhood or in teenage, and now, you know, we've not said much about your marriage.
Do you know, when I was getting married, I was only 21 years, better than my mom anyway. But listen, I wasn't getting married because I wanted to or because I knew what marriage was, but I was trying to run away from my mom. I was like, my mom is very nagging. My mom is making a lot of noise. So for me, I was running away from the noise from home.
Oh my God.
So even and the other thing is, I did not know who to choose for marriage. I wasn't allowed to move around. So I just married somebody that was employed to work around where my mom was working. Because that is the only person my mom allowed me to talk to. Because he did not see him as somebody who would be able to ask me for marriage. Because when my mom discovered, I'm telling you, that boy could not work there. My mom was like, I'm going to kill you for my daughter.
Really?
Do you think I was educating my daughter for you? Are you joking with me? And he literally went with a knife.
Oh my God.
So he was so scared.
So how did the marriage then happen? I mean,
then we continued talking, and those days we didn't have a phone. So my small brother, he would come and give a note to my small brother, and my small brother would bring me the note, but my brother would tell me, you know what, I'm giving you this note, but if you don't buy me bread, If you don't give me that 5 shillings, that time of the bread was 5 shillings. If you don't give me that 5 shillings, I assure you I'll tell mom.
Okay.
So I had to make sure I have 5 shillings.
Blackmailing you.
Yeah. I keep telling him that. So I would like, okay, I'll give you. So we could communicate through notes, or he could sometimes call. Maybe he would send children to call me, and we would talk maybe around the fence, things like that.
And then now you got married. How long did you last in it?
It lasted. It's a long time. It was 22 years.
Oh.
Yeah, and there was no much. I don't know what. You know what happened is like just the way I was raised up, I took all the burdens again, even in the marriage. It's like I was taking everything, all the responsibilities. It's like all the burden belonged to me. So it's like I had to do everything, educate the children, do the business, up and down and all the time. So at one point, I became so tired and depressed.
Why was he not supporting you? Was he not working?
He was supportive, but he didn't want to do extra. I don't know.
He probably didn't have as big dreams as you had.
Yeah,
maybe.
I think that's the difference. Because it's like, so I found out I was so tired, taking all the responsibilities, busy, it's like I became the reader. I was like, it's like I was the husband and he was, it was hard, until at one moment I was so tired. I was completely depressed.
You didn't talk about it?
I think he did not understand. I think he also thought that is how I'm wired. Like I have to take all this responsibility, work hard, do this.
Let me slow you down there a little bit. Sometimes we are so driven, that the people that we interact with don't have space to pop up. I don't know if you understand what I mean. Like sometimes you might be so driven and so focused, like you know what is right ahead of you, that when you come into this relationship, you have everything figured out, that the other person doesn't have a place to go in. Do you think that could have happened to you? Because
one thing is, he wasn't also from a well-up family. So, and it's like, because of what I had gone through, I hated poverty. So that one was like, I wanted him to join me to fight the thing.
Yes.
I was like, my children can't go through this.
Yes.
We have to do something, We have to work hard because I want to put them in school. I want them to become better people in future, but he seems not to understand that. So I felt like he's not like moving with me, as you're saying. And I had I made all the sacrifices.
Right.
All the sacrifices. I really struggled. I had to make all the sacrifices because I had to make sure that what I've gone through in life, the rejection, the pain, that my children don't have to go through that. Yeah. So I was like, definitely I would resent him for not trying to do something, because I'm like, you have come from almost the same place or even worse than I am.
Yeah.
And why are you not doing anything? Why are you not trying?
Hard enough.
So I was like, I wish you'd do something, and our children would not have to go through what we have gone through. Because he also dropped out of school because of lack of school fee. And I was like, can't you see what is happening to us? If we are not careful, this will also happen to our children. I felt like he was in his comfort zone.
Well, I mean, you are working hard.
I felt left out. And because even after I got married, that is when I went back to school. I had finished college, but I wanted to pursue education. By this time, I knew the call of God upon my life very early. So this time, I don't want to pastor God's people without knowledge. That is when now, after that, I went to East Africa School of Theology. That is where I studied. I was like, I want to know what I'm speaking about. So I went back. I tried to tell him, like, go back to school. He didn't want to. So it's like I was growing and this person is now growing.
Right.
So until a time now it's like I'm growing and nothing is changing. So I went back there and did counseling also. He's now growing on that area. So me, I was like, he doesn't want it. I'm like pushing him. I'm like pulling him in.
Yeah. So you were telling me the way you've sectioned your book in terms of like chapters of your life. Could you please take us through that too, so that we kind of feel the structure of your book?
Yes, so I have personal experiences that are written in that book. I have said the book. I have also talked about my self-discovery, which has made me who I am. I am. Let me tell you, I am happy by who I am, even if I die today.
You are satisfied.
I am satisfied. I know. Matisse, I have not arrived, but I'm at a place.
You're not where you began.
I'm not that small child anymore. I've let go of those pains, and I know where I'm happy about me. So that is my journey. You read about how I've grown and how I've become. My second thing is my desire also to inspire others. I'm like, I have this strong desire to see people become, despite what you're going through. Yeah, I think that makes me. I love people. And I love seeing people grow and become. I can do anything. I can motivate you to be all that God created you. So I like empowering people. So in the book, you find places where you are being encouraged to overcome strategies for overcoming adversities. I've written about that. I've also promoted the ideas of perseverance that lead to success.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is what the book is doing in that part 2 of the book, providing a voice for those who are struggling. I speak up for people who are struggling.
Yes.
Even now, whether I am at work, if I know you are struggling, I'll speak for you.
And there's a lot of people who can relate with, like what you've gone through. So when you speak about their issues, then they feel represented. Yeah,
they feel represented that way, but I still can't leave you struggling. In my marriage, I had my husband had a struggle of that. I would pick people and struggle and give them and try to help them. Because it's like I feel they have a bright future. I feel something good will come out of them. I have hope for them. Yeah, because when I consider where I came from and who I am, I always believe anybody can become.
There is something that you just said, and I don't know if you were conscious. I was saying, I thought you would feel their pain, but you actually said you see their hopes, you see where they're going. So you see it from the positive side, as opposed to seeing the pain they're going through. You see what they can be.
Yeah, I already see the end of the story.
That's
I think that is why I speak of tenacity.
That is
I see beyond what you can see. I see beyond what a person can see. And I've really seen people transform. I have so many lives. I have so many young people who tells me, "Whoa, I thank God for you." I've been an encourager throughout my life of inspiring people to be all that God desired them to become.
Right. Right.
And for example, I had my own son, who is my second-born son. It happened he wanted to become a medical doctor. And now, when they were picking up students, he ended up in Moi University. Then they gave him some computer science thing to do. And my son was like, he dropped up after 1 year. And he was like, "Mom, I've given up." And the father is saying, "I can never put you in a private university. They are very expensive. So you have to drop up your dream." So, and he was out of school 1 year. And I looked at him and I asked him, "Maxwell, how passionate are you to want to become a doctor?" is that the only thing you want to be? And he told me, yes, ma'am, this is what I want to be. And I looked at him and I told him, this is a big thing, but we have to sit and talk. Because if you are to do it, you will not back out of this. You have to remain through the course.
Yes.
So we talked, and we tried. We tried Nairobi University. We tried him to come here. It's kind of hard. Then he didn't get the scholarship he desired. Then he was... Then we tried Nairobi University. They didn't take him. The only option that was the people that, because they have a bigger number. So now he went to Methodist University.
Right.
And let me tell you, I realized, I was like, thank God I was there for this boy. You can't imagine the joy he has. You know? And I was like, God, I'm happy. I feel fulfilled. That.
So is he studying now?
Yeah, he's studying.
Good.
So this is what I'm saying. Can you imagine if I said I don't care? I don't care about what he wants, or I don't care about his desires. Maybe he would have ended up being nobody out there. You see? So that is why I always see hope in people. Right. So I told him, you can go to school, yes. I know I have many other things I need to do, but you are my priority. If you commit to this course, I'm committing with you, you know?
Yes.
I'm the kind that wake him up on a Tuesday morning and tell him, can we pray? Can you begin to pray and tell God to help you?
Right. That's amazing.
And people have an idea. I don't know, they have God-given idea of who they want to be. But they cannot see the map or the road there. Okay. So they need someone to encourage them and to tell them it is possible. You look at a musician, you see a great musician. You see the end of who they can become. Then you take them through the journey. It is not a straight path anyway.
Like you must be a great mentor. Apart from like what is in the book, do you have like columns that you write? You know, do you have like pages or places where people can read notes from you? I'm gonna be breaking the book into small pieces sometimes because I wanna continue being motivating people. There are seasons that I was very active in TikTok. Okay. Yeah, because I used to share things and people were motivated. They would tell me, oh, I like what you say. I like what you're doing, you know, because I feel I share life through it, yeah? Yes. Some people, I know there are people who say, oh, she talks about herself. I don't talk about myself. I talk about life experiences because what I go through, there's someone going through there, yeah? If somebody don't say something, they will think, they're in isolation, they're in a desert, they are alone there. But when people know that there's somebody who is going through what they are going through, they can relate with that person. Correct. You know, we have been taught to hide problems. Because the society we are in does not respect you when you suffer. They want you to show them all is okay, my marriage is okay, my children are okay, everything is okay. We live a lie. Right. But I thank God he has enabled me to not live a lie. Correct. I want to tell people it is not easy, but you can make it. Yes. Yeah. I am honest, I'm open, I'm genuine. I don't care what you say. Those that are going to buy this book, what are the key takeaways from it? Okay, my desire is whatever happens, you can bounce back. Because life has things. You know, life is uncertain. You're not sure what will happen. I lost my mom. And let me tell you, after I lost my mom, I cried. And I'm telling you, so many people here thought here in America, thought I'm going to get depressed. And for a short while... Oh, your mom passed on, you were here in America? Yeah. And for a short time, I got depressed. But one woman told me, now that if you get depressed here, what are we going to do to you? Then I realized, hey, then I shouldn't get depressed. Because they can't do anything with me. And already I've lost my mom. So I had to do self-talk and tell myself, Jane, you loved your mom and your mom is gone. You know, I was like,
I had, the way you give everything you have to save your mom. I had tried. I paid all good doctors. I was like, take her everywhere. I don't mind. Pay slip after pay slip. But you see what? It didn't save her. And we are talking with mom, and she's telling me, she knows she's going to die because she had stage 4 cancer. She's telling me, don't give up. Take care of your health. Don't come. She could even tell me, don't come now. Because we had a project we were doing together. She said, until that project is done, please hold on. So me, I'm like, Mom, I want to go. I want to come. But she didn't allow me. We really had those good talks with my mom. Then I'm here. The project is not done. My mom is gone. And now I'm here seated asking myself, now what am I going to do? I said, I think my mom has finished her story. Because she added, I may not be able to tell you everything about my mother. Yeah. If I'm to write it, it is a book.
It's another book.
It's another book by itself, because that girl made it.
Please write that book too.
That girl made it. And I'm telling you, she left some inheritance for us.
Wow.
So she did it. So she was not the way she was for nothing. Now I'm seated there. I'm thinking of those people who came to my mother's burial. They spoke well of her. They spoke of things she has done. She has a good legacy. So I was asking myself, now I feel like I want to die. What story do I have? What story am I leaving behind? Right. Then I told myself, Jane, your story for your mother is gone. You have to rise up and write your own story.
Right.
Then I started writing down what are the things my mom used to do. My mom used to buy land and build and rent them out. So I'm like, and I'm now thinking, this girl is in America. How am I even able to do this? And I'm telling you, I didn't even have money, but I sat down and I said, I have to start being my mom. I have to start doing the things she does, because I already know how she did them. So I sat down and I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? You know what? I started telling myself, what do I do? I should start by buying a house. I'm like, I don't even have money. And I remembered when my mom was buying her first house, she didn't have money.
Right.
But she approached it and she started. So I was like, I can't start it. So I rose up and I said, my mom's story is crossed. Now it is Jane's time.
To write her story.
To write her story.
Right.
So if you are grieving, if you lost a husband, you lost a child, that is not the end. Rise above your limitation. Do something. You lost a job, you lost in whatever you have lost. Don't grieve for a long time. Try to encourage yourself and rise above it.
So on 15th, is going to be the launch. Do you have a limit to the number of people that you want to invite? Maybe you can use this opportunity to invite people.
I don't want to put a limit because there is no charges for coming in.
Okay.
So I'm inviting everyone.
Okay, just look into that camera and invite the people
There are
to
no
the launch.
charges for coming in. So please come. Get yourself a book. This is a book that will encourage you. It will transform you. You will become. You will start seeing those things you thought that would not happen, happening. Because I live that life. I have seen things happening. I have seen that transformation. And I know it can happen. I need you to come because you need to know how to take care of yourself, how to believe in yourself again, how to be your self-motivator, how to not only seek love from others, but to first love yourself. Because when you love yourself, you will not be seeking for people to validate you. You will begin to validate yourself and speaking to yourself and saying, I can do this because someone else has been able to do it.
Perfect. Sounds like a good way to end it, but I would not let you go without asking you where this is going to be at.
It will be at Christ Redeemed Church at Federal Way, 1636 South 330th Federal Way, Washington.
Make sure you get out there, go grab that book, share a moment in hearing more about what we could not cover in this very short time that we've had. I believe that story is going to inspire you. She's made many, many, many notes. She just picked a little bit of those notes and made them into this particular book that she's starting out with. I'm sure going down the line when she starts talking about her mom, that's a whole different story. And of course, I haven't even asked her about her journey coming from Kenya to the US. I'll probably want to have you back here to speak to couples, because there's a lot of stories about couples that have broken up, how overcoming that is, because it's a big challenge as well. I would want to hear that from you. But I just want to keep this about the book, and I just want to ask you, is there something else probably you feel that you would want to share with the people?
Yeah, I'll still say that I'm passionate about life. I'm passionate about family. I'm a family person. I really love families. I love people that love each other. I come from a family that we have gone through a lot. But let me tell you, even after my mom's death, we are together. The reason I have put my brother, my only brother and my sisters together, it is because I believe in a family, and I like it when a family loves together. It is now like this is 1 year after my mom's death, and so many people are like, "Hiya, we thought they are going to fight because of their mother's property."
Oh.
We don't even. I told them we don't have to fight. Our mom struggled to get all what she has. We are not gonna fight about it, but what we're gonna do is thinking of multiplying it instead of thinking of how
dividing.
Yeah, because you see, most of the time, when your parents die, you want to divide so quickly, and that scatters the family. You see, you don't bring the family together. So I love the family setting. I love to see families happy, because one thing I know, when the families are happy, the children are happy, and everyone wants to be loved. It's good to be in a happy family. And I really love families.
As I let you go, about your ex?
The father of my children.
Yes.
I loved that man, and he knows that anyway.
How do your kids relate with him?
My kids are with him. They talk to him. They love him. So they are boys, definitely. They relate well with their father.
Okay. Yeah.
They relate well with their father. And what else do you think?
Yeah. I just had to ask that because I heard you speak a lot of passion about family.
For me, it's like I cannot make my children and their father fight. Because when my dad died, I cried. My mom took good care of me. But there was a longing for me that missed my father. I was like, I wish my father was around. You don't know those days in Nairobi, I walked around, and any time I would see a guy wearing a kaunda suit, I had to stop.
Oh.
And like, could be my father be around? So there is a gap that even if you want to feel as a mother, it won't be filled.
Right.
So their father, you don't want them to miss their father. I don't want them to miss their father. The way I lived my life missing my father. You see? So I want them. I don't want to come and tell my children, oh, your father is this bad. No. If he is bad, they will know for themselves. I don't have to do that. It is them who will decide. Because they will have lived with him, they will have known me, so they will know.
I think that is an important lesson to a lot of ladies out there, because I understand many of them want to put a block between their kids and their parent when parents separate.
That is wrong, because let me tell you, they still have that blood in their vein. They are that person. Making your children suffer that they cannot enjoy that relationship because you think you own them. That is selfishness.
Right.
You did not get pregnant by yourself.
Right.
You got pregnant by that person you hated. So at one moment you loved them.
Right.
And you loved each other.
Yeah.
That is the outcome.
Right.
So if it is the outcome of your love, then you should cherish it. You should cherish those moments that you are we were happy with that person, and allow them also to enjoy the privilege.
Okay.
Yeah.
2 last questions. the founders of Bonfire Adventures, virtuous woman Sarah Mtalii, now formerly Sarah Kabu, and Simon Kabu, the Jabo Jabo couple, and the couple goals. What are your thoughts about how their life is turning out on the social media?
Okay. I hate what happened to them because I loved them together than when they are separated. That's me. You understand? I used to admire them more when they were together than when they were separated. I would not support either of them. I would not say, oh, this is good or this one is bad. But I would, if I were to have some praise with them, I would like them to have a mature way of handling their conflicts. Because social media will not help them. It will only make fun of them. So I would like them to match, because they are not young. You know, you can struggle with young couples, but these are older. The man is old enough, the lady is old enough. They can choose, because what they are doing in social media, their children can see. It will remain there. So what I would advise them is to look for a mature way to solve their conflicts. And you may not, I'm not like saying come together, because there must be a reason why you have chosen that path. But that path you have chosen, let it not cause more harm to the other person. You see? Because if you continue damaging the person, you will not even have time to take care of yourself. So this should be their time of self-care. You know? It should be their time of reflection. It is not a time of competition. And this is what is killing marriages. Competition. We want to compete. Who is better than the other? Instead of competing. You see? So what we are seeing out there is them competing instead of them throwing down to try and discover discover themselves and have self-reflection. Because at the end of the day, each one of them might end up getting married again. So you should be asking yourself questions. If I get married again, what do I wanna see? What don't I wanna see?
What will you be taking into that
marriage?
What
will you be taking and what will you not be taking? Because you know, all of us are falling short of the glory of God. We cannot say, oh, it is the man or it is there must be something. You know, so look at yourself. See what you failed, where you failed. Let the man look at himself, see where he failed, and now at least get that determination to be the better version of you. Don't fail in the next marriage. But if you don't reflect now, if you don't pay now, you pay later.
Okay.
So this should be their time of reflection. It should not be a time of shouting. It is not a time of competition. That one is now gone. They are not together. They have seen whatever they have told us. So let them have self-reflection time.
All right. So the last thing that I wanted to ask, and this is about you, and it draws from the same story. I've heard Sarah Mtalii saying she wants to get married again. She wants to move on again. What about you?
Ha ha ha. Definitely, I told you I'm a mother. If I would get married again, the first quality I would like in a person is maturity. I love mature people. Maybe because of the father figure issue. I would like someone mature. I don't like struggling with, you know, some like raising someone up, like maybe. So I would want someone mature and somebody responsible, and someone that is, I hate conflict, someone that is real peaceful. Yeah, somebody that is peaceful. I love peace. I thrive better in peace.
Right.
So I would love a peaceful person. Yeah.
So it would be safe to tell our viewers that Pastor Jane is still out there, and she would appreciate a peaceful person around. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. It's been an amazing short time with Pastor Jane. She's launching her book. It's called Resolute Tenacity. That's a beautiful title. I've listened to her. I hope you get a chance to be there during the launch. Tarehe 15, 15th of February, just the day after Valentine's Day, this book will be launched. Get your copy and get inspired. My name is Tony Shira. It's been a pleasure having you. See you on the next show.